Talk about Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan. I am really liking the idea, the more I think about it, of putting him as the starting five for the Spurs moving forward. Now, I know in the comments of my last video, someone was saying that Edie was the best big man in college basketball. Maybe he was. I don't want to argue that. You might be right. But objectively, I think that Clingan, 2 years, he was a sophomore, won a championship as a sophomore, and it just has more potential than maybe Edie does. I don't know how well he guards around the perimeter. That's always a concern now with big men, is how well they do that or how well they can adapt to that. But I do feel that, he's, how do I say, the back to the basket game is nice. I'll start there. The back to the basket game that he has is nice already. I don't think he's going to be missing bunnies, missing little dump downs from whoever. I think he's going to be an elite finisher at the rim. Now, do I feel like that back to the basket game is needed in the NBA today? Not too much, but I feel like when you do need it, it matters. The opportunity to use that when you need it matters. Think of like Jakob, how he can use a little bit of bully to him. Jakob, he needed a little bit more of I'm a bully you, I'm gonna bang you up, and I'm gonna do that. He was more of a finesse type big man, and I feel like Clingan is the opposite of that. Like, he wants to bully you, he wants to make you feel small, and he wants to really make you feel him on the defensive end. And so, there's that. Yeah, he's a fantastic rebounder. He's a fantastic two-hand finisher at the rim. Again, he doesn't mess around, puts the ball in the rim. He can finish with contact. He can finish around two or three smaller players in like a crowded paint. So in college, so in an uncrowded paint in the NBA, I mean, it should be even better for him. So he can really pass the ball too. I was looking at his passing ability, which is crucial for the Spurs. I mean, Zach Collins did a great job of moving the ball, finding backdoor cutters and all that. It's very important to the way we played. So he can really make some impressive passes, bounce passes, backdoor passes, either dump down off the top or bounce to backdoor guys. He does a little high-low action. If he can pass the ball high-low to Wemby back and forth, I mean, that's something defensively is intimidating. If you put him as a starting five next to Wemby for the next 7, 8 years, 10 years, or whatever, I mean, guys, defensively, holy crap. Defensively, he's a monster, and that would be one of the most monstrous defensive lineups that you can think about. If you think about him protecting the rim and letting Wemby go to that power forward and cause all that havoc on the perimeter, man, dude, that honestly makes me so excited to have that as a foundation kind of thing that you put in your back on, is these two guys at the rim, him and Wemby. So, I can, he can really alter shots and shut things down in the paint, and he can recover as well. So, I think as a comp, I'm comparing him to, I think it's Walker Kessler, right? Or I think it's what it is, Walker Kessler from Utah. It's just like a really big elite defender who can stay on the floor, who isn't a liability, and honestly, he can be a foundation piece, kind of how they have like Walker Kessler and then the other guy, what's his name, Laurie Markkinen over there in Utah. I think like a double big tandem of Clingan and Wemby is something that can be very, very special. Very, very special. All right, so if we draft him at 4, I would love it. If he's still there at 8 and we can draft him at 8, man, I think the Spurs should do it. Honestly, I think they should look up to shore up that center spot and not have it be such a mystery with Zach Collins, or trying to figure out, what Charles Bassey can be, you know what I mean? Something like that. Dominic Barlow, all these guys are kind of too small. Like, we need someone who's like big, who can be really big next to Wemby and let Wemby go out and play out on the perimeter. Next, we have Rob Dillingham, right? I'm kind of comparing him to a John Wall / Darren Williams. It's kind of hard for me to put my finger on him because I don't want to peg him just as like a small scoring guard, because there's a lot more to his game. I feel like he's an athletic score first point guard. That's first off. He's an amazing scorer. He's an amazing score first point guard. So he still needs work. I feel like like he does have that deep ball potential, though it looks a little clunky, his shot at this point. But I mean, he has an agile bag. Like, he has an agile dribble. Off the dribble, he can really break players down, break his defender down, and head to the rim. Now, when he's on his way to the rim, he can really show off. He can really show off a few things. He can show off his athleticism. He can show off his craftiness, his soft touch around the rim. And as a playmaker, I really like the way he finds guys open on the way to the rim. If it's either the roll guy from a screener or a cutter that's cutting off ball, the short roller, the guy in the dunker spot, he can throw a lob. Which are all great tools for like a two-man game. So if you want him in pick and rolls with Wemby, I think the potential is high there. His scope and kind of creativeness is very impressive. So as long as he can kind of make simple reads along the way and find open shooters, find Devin, find guys that are out there on the break, and then also kind of implement all that IQ skill combination with the ball in his hands. I mean, he can be pretty damn good. He can be really damn good. So, he has the tools to be a really big threat at the point guard spot. And I think that's a difference. It's like, yeah, you can have a good point guard out there, you can have a game manager out there, but do you have a threat? Do you have a threat at the point of attack? And I feel like he can fit that mold really well. So, he's a really pretty damn good on-ball defender as well. He can really pick people's pocket. He's got a nose for loose balls and for reading passing lanes. So the defensive chops are there as well. The IQ is there. The hustle is there, all behind all that. So that my player comps are kind of I feel like with him. I didn't want to tag him as just like any other small guard because I feel like he has way more to that than just being like a scoring type little guard. I mean, he's not little. He's 6'3". He's a little bit smaller, but I feel like if you're looking at instead of drafting Trae Young, you want someone who can do similar things, maybe not as well, obviously, as Trae Young can at this point. But if you want to draft your own guy that has that same type of potential, even higher defensive potential, you look at drafting Rob Dillingham. So I really like that pick for the Spurs. If they can get Rob Dillingham and Clingan, speaking of those two guys in particular, if they can get them with the 4 and 8, I mean, that's a good direction to place this team on for the next 2 or 3 years. You would have Dillingham at your point. You would have Devin Vassell at your 2. You would have Sohan at your 3. You would have Wemby at your 4 and Clingan at your 5. Like that 5 right there. That 5 could be it. That can be it for the next 7 years if they pan out and if it works out, which is always a big if, right? But I mean, talking about filling the holes in your starting lineup, those two guys on the roster is something that, man, makes me